Item 1, apologies for absence received. It's two again, isn't it?
Yeah. Councillor Marie, who has work commitment, Councillor Fox, personal business.
Okay, good. Yeah. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declaration to disclose of pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'm actually a member of the ministry in St Clement's Church. I'd like to declare a interest in the grant which is set in 1 St Clement's Church. I won't be able to take part in that. Vote on that.
Thank you, Ben.
Similarly, I'm a PCC member, so I
Okay.
also express an interest in 7-1.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. To approve the minutes of the ordinary meeting, Sandwich Town Council as trustee of Sandwich Tollbridge Fund held on Monday 19th December, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Councillor Brown.
I have a point I wish to raise on this one in relation to the minutes of the Finance Committee held on the 12th of December, which are up for approval here. The point, and I've raised this point before to the council and to the Tollbridge Fund. Councillor Angerson has raised this as well, in that all we are being asked to do is to approve agree a resolution that the minutes were approved as accurate and signed.
Yeah.
But what the Tollbridge Fund has not done is actually approve the recommendation contained within those minutes. And a resolution to approve minutes as being accurate is not the same thing as actually approving a recommendation contained in those minutes. And I would therefore argue that the Tollbridge Fund has not yet approved the budget. But that was the recommendation in the minutes of the Finance Committee. And therefore, I don't know where we are if the Tollbridge Fund has not approved this year's budget. There has to be a resolution of the Tollbridge Fund, not only approving, saying the minutes are accurate, those minutes which contain the recommendation from the Finance Committee that the budget be approved. The Tollbridge Fund has to pass a resolution approving that recommendation and approving the budget. Now, it can't be done at this meeting because we can't add a new agenda to it. Therefore, it is going to have to be done at the next Tollbridge Fund meeting. So please can we ensure that at the next Tollbridge Fund meeting there actually is a motion put to that meeting approving the budget, because otherwise we're going ahead, the Tollbridge Fund is going ahead with an unapproved budget.
This is what I can't understand, why councillors get the agendas on the Thursday and don't ask the finance officer when she's not available tonight. That's one of the reasons why you get it. But we can do that, councillor.
Well, I raised it, I left this to raise this issue tonight because I've raised it before.
Yeah.
I've raised it with the Chief Executive, I raised it with the Finance Officer, Councillor Angerson has raised it before.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a point so that the Council do understand that they are not adopting the correct procedure in the way they are dealing with these recommendations from committees.
Councillor Carter.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recommend the approval of the minutes and the recommendations therein
Yeah.
for these ones here. that was being
Well, it
presented.
didn't do that at the meeting. So you can't change the wording of what happened at previous meeting.
Councillors.
It needs a new resolution with that wording.
Could you two
Sorry,
speak
I
through the
shouldn't
mayor,
be talking.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
Mr.
So-
Mayor, sorry.
Yeah, so I'll approve these minutes and the resolutions therein, Mr Mayor.
Yeah.
I can't do anything retrospectively, that have to be
No.
brought up at another meeting, but I can put forward to approve these with the recommendations.
And I will second that as well, because
Yeah.
the minutes are correct.
Yeah. Okay. Are we all in favour of approving these minutes? Yeah, I think we are. Lovely, thank you. Item 4. Payment schedules. 1. To approve the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund payment schedule for January, attachment 2.
Propose we take attachments 2, 3, 4 on block, unless anybody's got any comments from me.
I second that motion.
Everyone in favour of that, do it en bloc? Okay, so councillor, so we're going to vote en bloc then. Councillor Sampson, councillor
propose.
Coates.
In favour?
All in favour? Oh, we've got one abstention. Okay, thank you. 5. Finances and investments. 1. To receive and note the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund statement of account as at 31st of December 2022, attachment 5. Did you do it? No. Peter.
Propose acceptance, Mr Mayor.
All in favour to note? Thank you. One abstention. 2. To receive and note the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall Petty Cash Statement as at 30th of November 2020.
Propose acceptance.
Acceptance. Okay,
Second
all in
that.
favour of that? To note? Oops, this will be called. 3. To receive and note the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall Statement of Accounts as at 31st December 2022, attachment 7.
Propose
Close it,
acceptance.
do we have a
Mr. Mayor.
seconder? All in favour? 4. To receive and note the Sandwich Guildhall Museum Statement of Accounts as at 31st of December 2022, attachment 8. Proposer?
Propose.
Second. All in favour? An abstention. Okay.
or is this Quilter Cheviot?
5. To receive and note the Quilty Cheviot Investment Management Monthly Report as at 31st of December 2022, attachment 9. Proposer, seconder?
Move acceptance.
I'll second.
Oh, I think we're all in favour this time. 6. To receive and authorise a letter from McAbe Ford Williams regarding Sandwich Tollbridge Fund financial statements for the year ended 31st of March 2022. Attachment 10. What is it? What's it called?
Propose acceptance of the solicitor's letter.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, all in favour? Thank you. Is it on this list? Number 6, isn't it? Yeah. Number 6, financial regulations. To receive and approve financial regulations and amendments to Appendix 1 stating powers of financial delegation. The contract needs approval and signing. Attachment 11A and 11B. Councillor Anderson.
I just want to make the same remarks as I made about the financial regulations for the town council. The language should be changed and that instead of the HR councillor being referred to the personnel subgroup.
And I will second that, because there are definite changes needed
Yes.
to the wording in these regulations.
Okay. All in favour of the word changing? Okay. Thank you. Excuse me a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all gone through, isn't it? Right, application down there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Item 7, grant applications. To receive and consider the following grant applications, please note the 2023-2024 grant budget is 20,000, of which 2,000 has already been allocated. There are already an overspend of £10,020 on this year's grant budget. 1. A grant application from the PCC of St Clement's Church, Sandwich for £5,000 towards cleaning and maintenance work on the church organ together with updated CTV attachment 12.
Yes, I believe this is something we should be supporting. St Clement's Church is a legitimate local community. Church organ and updated CCTV are things that, I think the Tolbridge Sun should be contributing towards.
Okay,
I
Councillor
propose that
Sylvia.
we do that.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor?
Okay, I think it's a great thing, and I do feel in my heart we should be supporting it. But then I remember that it's owned by the Church of England, and they have an awful lot of money. Why can't they just do it?
I think the reason we're supporting it is because it is also used for musical recitals, isn't it? It's not just used for the church.
St Clement's.
The organ actually do recitals there, which are not part of the church services. And we also, it's also used for like our civic occasions, for Mayor Maker Remembrance Sunday, and all this. So,
Okay,
and I think, well, I personally,
If it's that, then it's fine. But if it's not, I didn't realise they did as much.
yeah, and the finance officer asked, well, if you agree to it, to go on to next after April budget. Councillor Gray.
Wiles.
Me? Yeah, just reading the eligibility for award criteria. It says religious organisations may only apply for grant funding if that funding will be used for a project of clear benefit to the wider Sandwich community.
Yeah, I think it will.
Irrespective of religious beliefs, grant funding may not be used for the purpose of financially supporting worship or proselytisation. So I suppose with this application, it's whether this committee or us as trustees believe that this is benefiting the wider Sandwich community. And that's up for debate, I guess.
Well, I think it does if they have big concerts there. They get quite renowned organists there playing as well on their concerts. Councillor Morehouse.
I mean, my concern is over the overspend. We're going to go into this position again.
Oh, she wants to go on to next year's.
Yes, I know, but
Yeah.
if there's an overspend, I can see this happening again. We'll end up with another overspend.
No.
But we only overspend because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing anyway, giving the money to the people of Sandwich.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff is irrelevant in my mind.
Yeah.
The 20,000 budget should be more.
No. Let's go up when the new council's elected, isn't it, in May? Right, so we have well, I should propose it because I think it's a wonderful thing because I've been there several times. And I'm not a church goer, but I do enjoy the organ music and I do enjoy it when I use it for civic occasions.
Mr.
No,
Mayor,
you've already spoken twice, councillor.
was
No,
it
come
twice
on.
on this one?
Yes, you have. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
How often are these recitals happening? Because I'm not.
Well, of course, at the last 3 years, COVID's kicked in, isn't it?
Yeah, but generally prior to COVID, then.
I don't know, you have to ask them, but I think they have
Yeah,
about half a dozen a year, I think.
that question of how it's benefiting
Well, it does
the
a
local
benefit the
people
town.
would depend on
It's
how
the parish
regularly
church,
it's
isn't
being
it?
used for that
It's the
purpose,
parish
I think.
church. It was paid for by a private person. I think one of the stipulations of having it, I think the court was to have regular concerts. So it's part of having the organ put in that they have to do concerts for the people of Sandwich. Councillor Morehouse.
We'd like to comment on the quality of the grant application. It's one of the best we've ever seen. It should be a benchmark for future grant applications.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money to do it, isn't it? I mean, £5,000 is nothing to the actual cost of the project.
Really
No.
quickly, I just want to say, are you sure what Councillor Wiles says isn't true?
What's that?
What did Councillor Wiles say? He said, are we sure it's legal because we're making the...
Well, the finance officer says it is.
Oh, she definitely says it is then.
She just put it in next year's budget.
I didn't say it's not legal, I'm
No.
just saying are we happy that it's benefiting the wider Sandwich community, that's all. I do think with these criteria we do need to rewrite them at some point because we need to make sure that above all that applicants come here and can be quizzed about their application.
And they do have concerts, like, is it the Manwood Singers go there, don't they? And the choirs do concerts. There is a lot of other things apart from the church.
So, yeah.
The concerts are in the church.
Yeah, it's not, the organ is not necessarily a religious
No, instrument.
thing.
No, but it will be used for worship. That's my last sort of thing, sorry.
Okay. Well, I propose it. I propose that we. You second. Who's in favour that we give them the grant to next year? Okay.
And this is for the next.
Is it next year's budget? Yeah, next year. Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to go grab them, as long as you'll understand that I'm going to start the key conveniences working investigation very quickly by just using the bathroom as well. I'll be back in a minute.
Don't get flushed. That's what it says. Put your answer. What can we have a page number? What I do is when I get this is a first. Break.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
So if we book in our fix, you mustn't put worship. That's what we take that or before we book. Because, yeah, I didn't mean it was illegal. No, to prison, but then against
Okay, councillors,
charity.
date of the next meeting.
Quick investigation complete.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Item 7.2, a grant application from Deal Maritime and Local History Museum for £3,000 towards the housing of East Kent Mercury newspapers, including the sandwich issues. I'm not sure because it's Deal, we normally just do sandwich, but the archives, I believe we do have our East Kent Mercury's in the archives. It might be worth approaching the Deal Museum whether they want to donate the sandwich ones to our museum. Councillor Moore.
Yeah, concern over this one is the total cost of the project is for £3,480 and they're asking us for £3,000. So they're not doing very much in the way of fundraising, spreading that out the cost. And the other issue is that this East Kent Mercury covers both Deal and sandwich, so there should be some sort of parity between the two councils making two organisations funding this, as opposed to just sandwich college.
I don't think they say how many copies they've actually got of it, do they? No. Yeah. Oh. That's what it is. Okay, it's great.
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Morehouse. I think the last application was well written. This one is not at all well written. Presumably it covers a number of parishes. Have they applied to all the parishes of this area? We don't know. And yet they're asking us for nearly 90% of the total cost. So it makes no sense.
We don't
I
normally
think we
do.
could make a smaller contribution, but
We don't normally do it. We only generally just a sandwich, don't we?
maybe we
I know
need
it's a sandwich, what's it? But that's Deal,
more
isn't it?
information.
Councillor.
Yes, I've actually used Deal Archives, and as I remember, to read the East Kent Mercury of the 1930s, and as I remember, it was on microfiche anyway. So, what this application doesn't say is which issues of the East Kent Factory are they proposing to cover with this really large amount. And I mean, it's just very unclear really what they're trying to do.
We should ask for more information.
You know, I just don't think it's
Councillor Simpson.
Yeah, so I think I've got similar-ish kind of questions to what's been said already, but just to check, is that are we able to actually, say we were to go ahead with a grant of some form, are we actually able to give this to Deal Music? Would this actually fall within our remit? Just to double check first.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
I don't think it's within the remit of
No, I don't think
October fund.
It must be for.
I don't want to give the money, but don't we give to Deal Music Association?
For their concerts in Sandwich.
Sorry, what was that?
Councillor Heaven, did you want to say something?
Mr. Chair,
I mean-
Mr. Gray asked what I said.
I would
Councillor Gray.
query whether it benefits the people of Sandwich. And if it doesn't, then I don't think we have got the.
I don't think we give money outside of Sandwich. So I think it's outside the remit of our charity.
Well, it benefits historians of Sandwich.
Well, true.
And it's very important that there is an archive of the East Kent Mercury somewhere local, but I'm just not clear what they're trying, what they're on about.
We do have some copies ourselves. Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, clearly the application is lacking. I assume that it does meet some of the criteria, otherwise a responsible finance officer would have put it to us. I assume that it's that residents of Sandwich would be able to access it. It's related to Sandwich issues. But we don't really have enough information in front of us to make an informed decision, so I'd like to propose that we defer discussing this until we get more information from the applicant.
Good idea.
I'll second that.
All in favour of that, then we defer it and get more information.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Flynn. Item 8, the Hive. To receive and consider an email from Peter Gill, Kent Community Warden, regarding their continued use of the Hive. Attachment 14. Councillor Carter?
Oh, yes, Mr. Chairman, I was just going to ask, on this matter was, I saw that Peter Gill, the KCC warden, had said about, previously they've been funded by Councillor Sue Chandler
Yeah.
to obviously keep them in the town, until obviously a better option came up from the town council or Tollbridge Fund to make use of this space. It does keep the PCSO, the KCC warden and the CDO from Dover District all in one place, like close to the centre of town. But obviously that would be dependent upon Councillor Sue Chandler bankrolling it again this year. So I was wondering if perhaps Sue Chandler could be queried as to whether she would support it again this year for keeping them in place. It would give the Hive a temporary use, wouldn't it? And it would keep these important people at the centre of the town. For the
Yeah, it's
time.
supposed to be like a temporary museum space, isn't it?
Well, it is when it's
When they get sorted out.
when we get
They
round
started
to-
on the archives, hasn't they? Started installing new shelving today.
Oh yeah, that's the meeting,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. But
Yeah.
in the Hive, we haven't got anything else lined up for
Not
the
at the
Hive
present time.
currently. So, but I was just wondering if we could reach out to Councillor Sue Chandler and ask her
If she's still going to finance
if she
it.
would still finance it this year. So, and it would keep those people close to town, wouldn't it? So, because otherwise they said they've got other options, but they might be sort of on the outskirts or further out of the town.
When we say the Hive, do we mean the old visitors information?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really happy to have these, is it 2 or 3 people in the town, whatever this is, the Guildhall, but have the tourism group decided that they don't want to use the Hive yet?
I don't think it's up to the tourism group, because I think
But
we've...
the council So we
No,
can't,
no, the thing is, the town council got a grant to turn that into an extension of the museum as a temporary exhibition space,
I know.
and they
that,
received money for that.
yeah. Mhm.
So it's very difficult, unless you're going to give them the grant money back, to say you want to turn it to, so that's an ongoing thing that'll have to be discussed through the committees, isn't it?
But we can't give another year, can we, if we're supposed to use it for museum
That's what I'm saying.
displays?
Is they asking for a year?
But we have lots of other rooms, don't we? Yes.
I think, yeah, there's space within the Guildhall, yeah, we're just sort of,
Even the hub.
I think the best idea is Councillor Carter's. We ask the KCC councillor whether she's going to continue financially supporting it.
That is great. I want Councillor Chandler to support it and give the money. What I'm saying is, if it's going to be used for exhibition space, you can't give him another, or give them another year's contract.
No, and that's why I did
so you
ask.
need to find that out as well.
I did ask the clerk, one of the PA, to put a museum committee, but she's missed it off the agenda. Because I think it's still important to have a museum committee. Like I've got the Monk's Wall going again, Councillor Gray. Definitely.
Why?
You're both the same.
So there's a number of questions about this. First of all, how much
Councillor
are we,
Wiles, I am sorry. I'm getting muddled up.
first of all, how much are we talking about? What's the sum that Councillor Chandler has put up? Secondly, what's the legal agreement with these three officers? Are they on some kind of tenancy, or are we able to give them notice of a week or a month to vacate the premises? The third thing is, I've been talking to the museum coordinator about this space. There's no actual legal written agreement that she's aware of regarding the use of it as a museum extension.
No.
So it could be used as the new tourist office, or it could be used for some other purpose. But you know, I'm happy for them to carry on there.
Yeah.
Any decision on that would have to come to the council as a
The
whole.
the full council, wouldn't it?
So if we're saying that their use of it is a temporary use, pending any other use, then I don't see a problem. But the problem for them is where the money comes from.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just saying, Mr. Chairman, obviously it would be a temporary operation until something, either the exhibition option was taken up, or if there was a tourism option to reopen it as a tourism office. So it would be a temporary option, but obviously the first thing is to find out whether Sue Chandler will actually assist with financing it. So I was just putting forward.
Yeah. I don't even know when this sort of little thing runs out. Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I read the email as they were looking for some sort of reassurance that it would be an ongoing long-term arrangement, and from the discussions that are happening, we can't give those assurances. So it would seem that we'd be leading them on a fool's errand to give them a temporary contract with the view that we're probably going to terminate it sooner rather than later. So in the interest of finding them a more permanent house in Sandwich to retain these vital officers and the work that they do, that we be upfront and honest with them and work with them to find somewhere else more suitable.
Yeah. I mean, Bay Hall might be better, mate. We've got people coming to talk, especially with the warden. He deals a lot with personal things, and people might not want to come in.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, the
it's
reason was they were using the fire station, and the Guildhall was obviously a more central location, and that's why it was offered. So if Bay Hall were the option, then I imagine that they would revert back to the fire station.
Yeah. No, it's just a thought. Yeah, it's like the food bank. They like coming here. They go there now. It's because of the youth club. Anyway, so we can't offer them anything really, can we? We've got to find out from Councillor Chandler whether there's going to be any funding coming from KCC.
Yeah, I mean, if she turns us down, then that brings up the option of
yeah, I mean, the funding's secondary. We need to decide what we're doing with the space first.
Yeah.
But how much are we talking about? Is it an essential sum of money that we receive? I don't know what money we're talking about.
I think it's a couple of thousand to 200,000.
Okay. It's not,
Don't quote me on that, but you're in that sort of area, I think.
so can we not just say to them, your use carries on until such time as the decision, the situation is clear.
We could pay from the Tilbridge Fund maybe. It's only £2,000 and it gets especially the warden needs to be here all the time. He needs to be walking around and seeing people.
Yeah, but we might want that
Oh.
space back, won't we, for the museum or the
No, we
tourists?
could just say that you can have the hub, can't we? Can't we? Because that's even better, it's got its own walk-in door and everything.
So there's a high.
That's not big, we hope no other out.
No, I know the hive does,
We want more
But-
high for that, because that's a
but
good
the hub is
space.
the other side and it's not good for tourist information centre.
Because we lost the meeting room, the hub's a lovely, especially like disabled access, it's perfect, isn't it, the hub? It's a
hub
shame
is-
we're not having the voting there this year, I don't know what's happened over that. Anyway, so, what do you reckon, the continual use of it, well, we've got to find out whether Councillor Chandler's going to finance it as well, haven't we?
Well, that's my proposal, Mr Chairman,
Yeah.
was just to find out if Councillor Chandler isn't going to fund it anymore, then that answers our question and we can move forward.
Move forward and decide.
So,
Yeah.
so it'd just be one letter to Councillor Chandler asking if she would fund it for the forthcoming year or not.
We can discuss it at the next council meeting, can't we?
And yeah,
Can't do
and
much
then
about
we
it
can
really,
make
can
a
we?
decision at
The next council meeting.
Yeah, the only point I make about the KCC members fund, you know, if we asked her to fund it for the year, then obviously there'd be repayment of the grant should we terminate it early. I don't know what the
Yeah.
constraints would be on it. If KCC funded it, it might have to be in effect for the 12 months.
Yeah, we have to ask, don't we? It's all in favour that we...
Well, very quickly. So we are in a bit of a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
We've got to decide whether we're going to be using it, and at the same time we're asking if there's money. I mean, yeah, we need to send this letter and discover exactly what the situation is, double check all the tenancy, length, costs, etc. But yeah, we have to probably decide very quickly if we are going to be using this for the tourist thing, because these officers are going to want reassurance. If not, we're going to have to very quickly figure out where we're putting them. So
Yeah.
perhaps we may have to do this by the next council meeting from our end, while
Yeah.
also getting a reply from Councillor Chandler.
We're going to have to sort out the front office, aren't we, really? Whether it's going to be a museum or whether it's going to tourism. In the meantime, we can ask.
well, yeah, it's
It's
just one
all up
letter.
in the air, isn't it? So we'll ask one letter to see about the... And, well, we can't put a date on it, can we? Whether continue funding whilst the space is available, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't give me years. Don't know. But,
Could we defer until we receive a response from Councillor Chandler?
Yeah.
And make
Yeah,
a
that's-
decision following that.
That's
Make
what I would
sense.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, a letter gets sent to Councillor Chandler, and then we defer any further matter until then.
Till the,
But obviously request if she could write back to us before next month's meeting
yeah.
would be preferable.
I would suggest a caveat as well. We have to, since these people have written to us, we should probably reply to them.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, send them a letter as well.
While, I don't know, maybe something to the effect of, obviously we're keen to keep them around Sandwich, but we need to figure out where we're coming from our end.
Yeah.
We don't want them in a difficult situation where they're having to make difficult decisions.
No. Okay, all happy then, we find it, send the letter and then go from there.
Yeah, I just voting on that.
I think we're all favour that, aren't we? Okay, thank you. Item 9, date of next full trustee meeting, 27th of February after the full council meeting. Okay, thank you, councillors.